minutes to put it together. So good morning, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche with Margie and Lori, Margarita and Lori. Good morning, good morning. My name is Lori Monaco. I am a life coach specializing in transformation and mindfulness practice. My business is Align Yourself Inc. I'm also a holistic practitioner and a speaker. Did I say speaker? I said that already. And I don't know, but sure, I don't know. And good morning, and I'm coming from Southern Connecticut. So good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Lori. Miss, I am a bit of everything. I am sugar-coated with magic today. Buenos días, mi gente. Namaste. This is La Margarita, your spiritual and creative healing life coach, writer. I don't know what to say, writer or author, artist.
You're both. You're both. You could say both because you've written books and you also write blogs. So you're both.
I am magically orgasmic and
the
gladiator guru. So welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche this morning.
Good morning, gladiator guru. And yes, I forgot to say from the badass Buddha and the gladiator guru. So yeah, good morning. Good morning. How are you? How is everything down in Florida?
Hot. It was nice. It wasn't that hot last night. I got the fan on my back porch today, so it's still kind of cool. So it's good. With the COVID, let me just say that at my mom's nursing home, 2 staff members and a nurse practitioner tested positive for COVID. So I'm just really trying to get her out. But now they got to test every single patient in the unit. So it'll be okay. Positive thoughts, sending positive vibes. If not, you go crazy, right?
That's correct. And in the newspaper this morning here in Southern Connecticut said that nursing homes, among other facilities that have been reporting false positives, so there's problems with the test. They said there's problems with the test. But and I thought about this. I'm thinking, if you're reporting, right, is there some money sort of exchange? I could be wrong on this, but if people are testing positive, or isn't like, or doing these tests, so aren't these facilities getting paid for these tests?
I'm gonna look into that, but I know that a lot of facilities don't like to report positive tests because then they get points taken off. Somebody who worked at a nursing home told me.
So that's contradicting information. See, like one saying if you reported, you get points, and I'm hearing something else saying that if you test positive and you do these tests, you're getting funding. It's like, either way it sucks. It sucks that your mom is there when she technically is fine in your care because
physical therapy
decided, for physical therapy. What are you doing?
She's fine. She don't want to walk. That's all it is. It's not that she can't. It's that she's like, fuck it, I don't want to. Why should I?
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. Yeah. So let me shout out. Good morning. Shout outs to Michelle Martinez, Argenis Torres, Buenos Dias, Gail Serrano, and Erica Bolahala.
Oh, I like that last name.
DC. Michelle's from Bridgeport. Henny's from near Tampa, Gail from Bridgeport or Derby, I'm not sure. And Erica's from Washington. Buenos dias.
And good morning to Ruthie. Ruthie's from Florida, but she's in Bridgeport. And I know from what I've seen her post, she's very happy to return to Florida today, I think she's going.
Morning, Ruthie.
Ephraim is on. He said, good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Ephraim.
He will be on 2 episodes coming up in August. So he's one of the most charismatic, I'd say, and happy guests that we've had on, and he's definitely a fan favorite. So we will post those dates very shortly. And but yes, good morning, everybody that is on this morning. So we are supposed to talk about our coffee on Tuesdays, yes, and our hashtags and the cafe challenge and all this stuff. So what do you think, my friend? What do we want to say? Post your picture.
Love of coffee. just say one thing coffee does for you, Lori. And then everyone who's on, just post one thing that your first morning cup of coffee does for you.
Peace.
It
creates peace for me.
It does.
Yeah.
It helps me. It carries through my moments of meditation and gratitude and praise, and then it just sets the Zen mode for me. Plus, it gives me that natural orgasmic feeling that I can't get anywhere else at this moment in my life.
So you have different types of orgasmic feelings. Like you have the coffee.
I'm just a ball of orgasms. Erica says it helps me not slap people.
That's good.
I love that, Erica.
Everybody around you is going to be grateful for that piece right now.
My cousin Lucci's on. Good morning, Lucci. Henny says nursing homes will get a baseline payment of $5,000 and $2,500 for each patient that is diagnosed with COVID, starting at 6 patients or more.
So what I heard was correct. That's.
Nancy Green says it helps her wake up and start my day. See, coffee doesn't wake me up or give me energy, maybe because I've been drinking it for so long, because I can have, like last night, I had my last cup of coffee at 1:45 in the morning because I was writing. And then I'm done writing, I get up, I brush my teeth, I go to bed. Coffee is just like breathing, I guess. It's just that.
Ephraim says it's part of my day's creation. And then, of course, he had to comment on the orgasm. He said, orgasm, yeah, that's it.
That's my boy, Ephraim.
Love coffee, orgasms, perfection. And then he put a laughing face.
See, I love them too, Ephraim, but what I'm saying is my first cup of coffee in the morning, it's like a natural orgasm. Like my body shudders and like that. Yeah. Even when I'm brewing it.
And we're gonna have a conversation at some point about orgasms. I mean, we talk about them all the time, but we actually have a show set aside.
A whole show
for that.
Dedicated to orgasms. That's gonna be awesome. Yeah, so remember the Taza de Café challenge where you take a selfie of your taza. Mine says today, good morning, gorgeous.
Oh, I like that.
That's and then when you finish drinking, it has a smiley face at the bottom. So
oh my God, that's nice.
Yeah, this is one of 3 that Tiffany Henny got me for Christmas like 6 years ago. So they're big.
That's nice. Mine is the love cup, love, hope, faith. And I'm wearing my bracelets that my beautiful co-host made for me. So, and I
love the charm. The charms fall nice.
Yes. And I'm drinking Door County coffee still. I still have my packages and I'm loving it. You know, I've actually really, I really love their coffee. So I have to say, I'm drinking, once again, the chocolate raspberry truffle flavored coffees. And so, yeah, this is good. I'll be like swapping it out pretty soon, but I do. And what are you drinking today?
I'm drinking today Café Bustelo. But my coffee's never just what I always dress my coffee grounds up. So today I have a pinch of salt and clove powder in my coffee ground before I start the slow drip with the hot water. And then my milk, my cream, my coconut evaporated milk today, which is delicious by Iberia. Coconut milk is not dairy.
Right.
I read that up before I got it. And it's delicious. So, and then I pour cinnamon while I'm frothing my milk. So that's
I love cinnamon on coffee. Love it, love it, love it.
And I love it. So Nancy
Take a
Green.
picture.
Yep, take a picture. Nancy Green says, hers says weirdo. So Nancy Harding, good morning, beautiful.
Good
So
morning.
yes, take your picture. I haven't been getting a lot of pictures. We have a, which Lori, you haven't signed in yet
Oh.
to post.
No, I emailed you yesterday. I said I was having trouble. I tried signing in and it wasn't working.
Oh, I'm going to have to
Figure
check
that out after, but let everybody know.
So go to Instagram. Viva Cafe con Leche has its own page. Send us your pictures there, or keep sending them to us so we can upload them. I'm going to go back and collect all the pictures of them, and I'm going to post them with the person's name on the Instagram page. That page is going to be dedicated to quotes, to our flyers showing our shows, coffee mugs. Take a picture with you in your coffee mug sitting somewhere. Let's just go off for it. Henny says, "Ooh, Iberia, I see you are boycotting Goya." No, I'm not. So yeah, so that's that. And I think that Taza de Cafe, hashtag Taza de Cafe challenge, when you're posting on Viva Cafe con Leche, let's do this. Let's all go viral together.
Yes, man. Please, this is something that we really love doing. And I'm telling you, our content, our topics are really good. And we want to spread the word. So, share. I've been trying to do on the weekends, watch parties and reposting the videos. So when you see it pop up, create a watch party, share it when you see it, the past episodes. And I want to also say, so Ephraim posted what he has, and he says, I'm having Brazilian Cafe Pilau, I think it's pronounced.
Oh, yes, I had that. That one I went
butter. Heavy whipped cream and MCT oil, which is the bulletproof coffee, because he does the keto diet. So, and that's really good. Oh my God, the bulletproof coffee is really good. Alicia Rose says, good morning, ladies. And
good morning.
In the house. Good morning, Carmen Nieves. So glad.
Carmen Nieves, did you get your books? Please tell me. Lori, I mailed them out the same time you got yours on Thursday, correct?
Yes, I think so.
You and a person in Bridgeport got theirs on Thursday. Friday, my brother in Syracuse, New York, got his. But my cousin Iris, Carmen, and Bridgeport have not gotten theirs. And even the guy in New Orleans that ordered got his. So I didn't understand this mail system.
You said Carmen's, you weren't being intentional.
Oh, Carmen. Yeah, Carmen got two. Maybe it's because Carmen has 2 envelopes, and Iris has 3 because she ordered for a lot of people. Okay. So I'm thinking that that's the case. So okay, Carmen, if you did get it, let me know. Good morning, Mary Wilson.
Good morning, Mary.
From Orlando. Carmen's from Bridgeport. Put in where you're from, please. Your pillow is very protected. It's coming, Erica. You got to hold me accountable. I'd be so excited to go with 25 books to mail to the post office in this big Aldi's grocery bag that I never have available for my Aldi's groceries, by the way. And I have to mail my brother's t-shirt, so I will be mailing your pillow pretty soon. Don't be mad at me. I love you. Send me kisses. So today's show, Lori, let's go on it. It's very interesting. Today's show, for the most part, in today's society, I think 98.5% are guilty of sugarcoating.
Yes.
Or I think that's more either you sugarcoat or it's like you are. What is it when you throw salt in your own wounds? That has many reasons for it. First, go ahead, start it. I love when you start introducing the show.
So today's topic is sweet or salty. And Margie and I came up with this when we were just collaborating, and we thought it would be such a great topic, especially the title, because, the question is this: do you sweeten your problems, or do you throw salt in the wounds? Do you brush it off, or do you make more of it than needs to be? And we're going to talk about acknowledging where you are at that point, and then being accountable. So do you Do you sweeten your problems, make them look like they're really not as bad as they are? So you sugarcoat your problems, or do you throw salt in your wounds? Do you make more of the situation than needs to be? And I think all of us are probably, I know for me, I could say for a fact, I'm guilty. I've been guilty of both. In my transformation over the last, 5 years, but especially the last 2, I have made painstaking effort to not do either or, to be very, very real about it. If it's something that's severe, I honor that. And if it's something that's not, I honor that and don't make much of it. But I definitely was guilty of both.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, and I think that either one is still a wrong approach.
Yeah, of course.
At your life. And
yes.
When I deal with people who like to sugarcoat shit, I have to remind them that I'm not Willy Wonka. Because I come out, they look at me as though I'm Cruella de Vil.
Oh, God.
And it's because in today's society, it's like, where the hell has all these sensitive people emerged from? Everything offends them. It hurts their feelings. Like, how old are you? And so people are adjusting their personality so that they don't come out to be rude, or offensive. And I'm just not going to do that. One, I don't realize that I'm rude or offensive, because if you ask me a question, I'm going to tell you. If you're doing something I don't like, I'm going to tell you. Now, maybe the one thing I can adjust, if I feel like it, would be how I say it. But what I'm saying shouldn't be. So it's like, in my research of it, they say people sugarcoat shit so they don't have their feelings hurt. Even with themselves, even when they have to admit something, they'd rather sugarcoat it. Let's say somebody has a breakup, and there's no never mind who broke up with who. It hurts all the same, right? Even though you say, I don't want to be in this anymore, and then it actually works, and then that person's not chasing you, because maybe you said, I don't want to do this anymore, in hopes that they would value you, right?
Right.
It still hurts the same. So to sugarcoat that scenario, what people would do is they travel back down memory lane to all the happy moments of that relationship, and then be miserable the rest of the day, instead of staring at it and really looking at it for what it was. It's a lesson learned, but the nice moments were what, 15% of the relationship, and the reason you want it out was because 85%, he was a narcissistic asshole. So, and that's what happens. That's just a scenario, people, so you could see how I look at sugarcoating, is that we tend to look at all the happy moments and the good times as opposed to what it really was, because then it'll prevent us from feeling wounded, right? And too much honesty hurts, so people don't want that, so they sugarcoat it. Or they only give you half-ass stories about what's going on. They only tell you half of it so that you don't tell them, well, why would you do that? Or you should have handled it.
You hit the word. Whether you sugarcoat or you throw salt in your own wounds, and sometimes other people because you want them to feel miserable, the bottom line is it's all the same. It has to do with knowing your truth and being honest with yourself. If you are not honest with yourself, there would be no need. If you're honest with yourself, there'd be no need to sugarcoat anything. You would say it like it is. There's no reason to make yourself suffer more and throw salt in there, because you say it like it is. And that's really what it comes down to, is how honest you are with yourself, with what's going on in your life and your situations and with your interactions with other people, and that's why I'm not that person anymore, and I catch myself, we all do this, transformation's lifelong. So even the most transformed individuals find that they have to be reminded, they always have to, like, that's, Margarita and I are both life coaches, and we're both damn good life coaches, by the way. But we are coaches, and we coach each other. She is my life coach. I am her life coach, because we need perspective. And so those moments when one of us sort of veer away from our path, we just have to be reminded, if we can't remind ourselves. So most of the time I do remind myself. Like if I find I'm getting a little over dramatized about something, I'll be like, okay, where's this coming from? Why am I doing this? Why am I giving myself a little pity party and throwing some salt and like grinding it in, you know? But it's better than it was. Like, you know, before, when I like had no clue of who I was, what I wanted, what was true to me, that was the only way that I felt something. And I think that's part of it, is that when you're so disconnected with yourself, you want to feel something. So if you sugarcoat something, it perpetuates the lies that you tell yourself. If you throw salt in the wounds, it makes you feel and acknowledge the what you don't like about yourself. But either way, they're not healthy. So it's like, just to be able to get past it is stepping into your greatness, knowing your truth, understanding who you are. Right? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it is, because when you sugarcoat stuff, what happens? It leads people to not fully grasp the circumstance of the situation that's at hand, right? Because they're going down, you know, the candy cane lane, as opposed to, you know, the what is that candy, that's that sweet and salty candy, which you have to balance both, which is what life is, right? You can't, you know, people do one or the other, or they do both, but you know, today they're having that sugar overdose of a pity party, and then the next day they're like, you know, Cruella de Vil at themselves. So being polite and sugarcoating, they have similarities. Like when people are too polite to you, they're sugarcoating instead of saying, okay, where I would say, I told you so, but you did it anyway, and now you're dealing with the consequences. That would be my response to somebody who did something and then now they don't know what to do, right? You would probably approach it differently, because you're being polite and you don't want to offend, but you want the message to get through, which is true, because sometimes, you know, people will block you. So I think as opposed to sugarcoating, if you just direct and you face your issues, your problems, your situations head on, they would dissipate because you're handling it. So
Right.
it's not a long lasting thing. And people sugarcoat why, like we said earlier, because they can't handle the truth.
Right. It's fear based. Because listen, you know, sometimes the truth is something, you know, like that, it forces you to make a big change. So
Mm-hmm.
sugarcoat, you know, I used to do that with my relationships, you know. I would make excuses for why the person wasn't coming to a party, you know. Oh, you know, they're busy, or why I couldn't go, you know. Oh, you know, I've got stuff to do, I've got too much to do. And you know, and the funny part is that you sugarcoat for so long that people know you're doing it after a while, you know, like they don't even believe you anymore, but you cannot face your own reality. You just refuse to do it. So it is fear based, you know, because you know that if you do face it, you have to make a change, you know. And a lot of times the sweet and salty, they right, so we like eating sweet and salty, we just don't like living sweet and salty, because they do go together. It's not like one person just always sugarcoats and that's it. It's usually, if the person sugarcoats, they also throw salt in the wound. So this is what they do. They sugarcoat to the outside world about their situation and their life, and then they throw salt in their wounds to make them suffer for the uh, not the guilt that they feel, but the resentment that they feel within their situation. So
Mm-hmm.
because they refuse to acknowledge what's really going on and their truth, and they make a stand, you know, make a decision, make a choice, they guilt themselves. They throw salt in their wounds. They make themselves feel like crap. And then, but on the outside, they sugarcoat to everybody else, but then they make themselves suffer. And it's just, for what? For what purpose? It's such a waste of your life. It's such a waste of your time. And you could be just doing so many other amazing things if you stop. Listen, use your sweet and salty for the candy that you decide to like treat yourself to in your life, not your problems or your situations. It
No,
doesn't solve anything.
and you hit on something where people who are constantly sugarcoating because they can't handle the truth that's right in front of them. You said that people start realizing that they're dishonest with themselves, right? And the situation they're explaining. But you know that when you are so accustomed to sugarcoating the reality of your life and your immediate family around you, people, those same people that you're sugarcoating shit for, to hide them from what you're going through, or sugarcoating their reality, they grow to disrespect you. So when
Yes.
people look at you as though, here she goes again, they're also disrespecting you because they see that you're not being honest with yourself nor the situation that you're dealing.
Yes. Yes.
So, you know, so Nancy says that she's direct but in a nice way. Is that sugarcoating? And you know, sometimes people can think they're being direct and they're doing it in such a nice way that they're also sugarcoating their directness because they don't want to come out as being rude or offensive. So you scale it down a bit. That's why they said that being honest and sugarcoating they're very similar. I think it because this is how I live my life. and I'm telling you, I do work. My cousin Darius is on. We're both Sagittarius. My little cousin, he was born on my birthday. We're Bruce Lee's babies. But we're very direct. And I've learned how to be less rough around the edges, especially if I know you're sensitive. But my motto since forever, I think since my 20s, is like if I could wear a sign that says if you're sensitive, back the hell up because you will be offended, because I don't have time for that. Life is too short. And obviously you're dealing with an issue where everything bothers you because you're not fully aware of who you are. So you sugarcoat your life and you expect everybody else to sprinkle fairy dust on your ass. And that's just not happening, especially when you're an adult, right? So why do we sugarcoat? Like you said, fear of judgments. We want to spare feelings, even our own, which we start with that, to get what we want and to manipulate, right? Because if you're always sugarcoating, you're weak. You know, you come off as being like, and so I think the best way to be in life and towards everybody, regardless of where their statue at and sensitivity and in sugarcoating, is to be honest. You know, my motto, those who know me know that I'm always saying, I am straight up and down like 6 o'clock. What you see is what you get. So I think that, Nancy, it's okay. You know, we have to, what is that word I'm looking for, Lori? Not change who you are, but I think that I have to, and I have been doing it.
Adapt?
No, I would never adapt to nobody. That's just not happening. No, but I am more aware of how to balance my tone. Not that I'm going to, you know, navigate away from how blunt I am or how straightforward I have to be with you, especially if you're not getting it and you're telling me this again, then I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel. So I'm just more aware. Good morning, Lillian. More aware of how I deliver my message.
Can I do a shout out? We got a couple extra people on too. Good morning, Dara. Glad you're here. And good morning, Keem. Glad you're on. We have a guy on, another guy, so that's good. So yeah, you know, and the thing is, so it was Nancy that was saying about the sugar coating, right? It's so, you know, it's the big focus here isn't even about how you sugarcoat to save somebody's feelings. This really, the talk especially is specific for how you go through your own life. Are you sugarcoating your own life? Are you throwing salt in the wounds in your own life? You know, we do sugarcoat for other people. Again, you're right. The biggest thing is to spare feelings. And yes, it's not being truthful to them. But sometimes that's the way to get through to them. But aside from that, think about your own life. Think about what you say to people that sugarcoat your problems. Maybe one of the reasons you do it is because you don't want people to know your problems. And that's fine. You know what? It's nobody's business what's going on in your life. It is the challenges that you go through are, it makes you vulnerable, and nobody likes to share vulnerability if that's the case, you know. And you don't want to share it with everybody anyway, because there's certain people that they're not worthy of knowing who you really are. But you have to look at it from within yourself. The problems that you are going through, are you sugarcoating them? Are you not facing them? Are you not really stepping in and saying, I don't like this? Like I'm making them lighter than they need to be. Like so I don't address them. So address them. Or am I making myself suffer because I don't want to be here? I don't want to know who I am. I don't like myself. So I'm just going to keep throwing salt in my wounds and making the pain stay there to make myself suffer for whatever particular reason that's deep set, that maybe it's conscious or subconscious, that I need to make myself suffer for. And either side, just evaluate that. You know, Margie, you said something really good too, that you said about how people lose respect for individuals that sugarcoat. You know, again, people will see that you're sugarcoating after a while. They'll see it. Well, they'll also see when you're throwing salt in your wounds too. And that side of it, I think, gets annoying for people. They just get tired of hearing you complain, hearing you down yourself, hearing you guilt yourself, resent. But the sugarcoating, people see right through it. And after a while, they kind of just roll their eyes and they lose respect. And I will say this on a personal level, you know, again, you know, I love my parents greatly. My parents are great people. But my mom has done that for her whole entire life. You know, she's in her 80s. She's a sugarcoater. She also can dramatize things on the other side of it, but most of the time she sugarcoats. And because she likes to avoid, she doesn't want confrontation. She doesn't want to deal with anything. She just wants to pretend that everything is absolutely smooth and perfect. And I've witnessed this, especially in my transformation over the last few years. And I've lost a lot of respect for her in that part. And I hate even admitting that, because you always say, oh, you want to respect your parents. It's, you know, it's something. I do respect my mom. I respect my mom in so many ways. She's a strong woman in other ways, and she's a workhorse, and she's like going to be 85, and she's like nonstop physically and, you know, whatever. And she's all there, her mental capacity. But in that piece of it, I have lost respect for her. And I've even shared that with Margie during some of our conversations in our coaching sessions with each other, because it doesn't sit well with me sometimes that I feel that way. But it's because of what I've observed, you know. But I also learned that she is who she is, and I'm not going to change her. She has to change herself, and I have no right to judge. So it is what it is. I just have to learn from that and say, okay, that's clearly who I don't want to be, right? Do you find, Margie, that a lot of times you, whenever you see somebody doing either end of the spectrum, or when you have in your past on either end of the spectrum, that now it's become more of, what can I learn from this? Like, what can I not do anymore? I don't like seeing this. I don't like seeing that. Do you feel that?
Absolutely. I think that later, you know, you're saying in your later years that you've acknowledged that, which, you know, I'm sitting here listening to you, and it is so quite heartbreaking, because then as I'm listening to you speak, I'm doing a checklist like with my kids, because I can't fix, nor can you fix, how our parents raised us and what we gained. But sitting here today and you speaking about your part, and I'm thinking about mine real quickly and doing a checklist as a mom, I'm grateful that we are here, and that we have become one with ourselves through meditation, through self-love and self-belief, that we can acknowledge that it was a learning lesson that we have grown from, and we're still growing from, right? Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
But we will be guilty of some days it's going to hit us harder, where we are going to rub salt in our wound, because we're going to want to be in that fetal position for a couple of hours and feel some
Yeah.
type, and feel it, because that's how we're also purging all all of that unnecessary stuff that we get from people who are supposed to raise us how we thought, how we assumed they should have raised us. So thank you for sharing that, because that is powerful. You know, not only is it powerful that you have grown from it and you become a different woman, but that you shared it with us this morning. Because that like even me, you know, you know, I'm the gladiator, I'm the warrior, I'm always ready for a fight and a show. And you just like, you know, you just you left me with, you know, calm, because that takes strength to admit. And if some may think that's throwing salt in the wound, and we're all guilty of it. That's how we started the show. So thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And good morning to Janet. Janet's on. And good morning, Nan. Glad you're here.
Good morning, Nan. Good morning, my little sister Janet. I have good morning, Shine Bright Jules, and Marina Rivera. Buenos dias. Namaste. So, you know, and we're doing this, and I've been, it's been like 4 days that I have my chakra candle for my third eye on. And every day I wear my diamond here, because I am meditating on opening my third eye, because I feel there's a blockage, right? So what happens when your chakras are blocked? What happens? You sugarcoat shit, and you throw salt in your wounds more so than you care to admit, because you're blocked. So you need some kind of emotional attachment to whatever's going on.
You know,
Oh, it's my cousin Alicia. Buenos dias.
good. You know, the question is, ask yourself this: if like really not analyze, really observe your life and ask yourself those questions. You know, do I sugarcoat things? Do I throw salt in my wounds? And it's the first part is the awareness, and then the next part is the truth, without judgment. You don't judge yourself. Don't say that I do this and I shouldn't do this. You don't shit on yourself. We won't shit on you. Don't shit on yourself. And so it's think about, like, observe your life and say, you know, okay, yes, I do this and I do that. Then ask yourself why. What purpose does it serve for you to do that? You know, maybe the purpose is that you like the attention. You know, when like we throw salt in wounds in a way to get attention, and then we sugarcoat things in a way to get attention away from us.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there's circumstances why people will do both. Oftentimes we'll do both. And like I said, you know, I sugarcoated with relationships because I didn't want people to really know how bad they were. And then I would throw salt in my wounds because I was miserable. And only my closest people would know how miserable I really was. And the people on the next tier out would get sugar coated. So it was basically like I was like a sugar candy with salt on the inside. I mean, that's like literally what it was like. And it gets, let me tell you, it gets exhausting to perpetuate this your whole entire life.
I was just gonna say, all that pushing and pulling, not only is it like mentally and emotionally and spiritually exhausting, but when do you have time to just be?
Yes.
So then where in that, mi gente, is there time for you to learn who the hell you are, for you to appreciate who you are, and for you to celebrate who you are? That for some, you know, like Lori says, it's not bad to sugarcoat some stuff. Not everybody needs a front row seat in your life.
That's
so
right.
Those are the moments where sugarcoating is, you know, it's good. It's like, no, everything's fine. All right, couldn't be better. Because not everybody deserves tickets to that front row seat. No VIP people in your area.
That's correct.
Okay. So and then throwing the salt in, I think sometimes if it's used properly, I guess, if there's even such a way, it should serve as a reminder, especially for me. You know, this weekend I had like an epiphany Friday at 2:00 in the morning. So it was Saturday morning. And then my granddaughter was asking me, like, she had this book of 2,000 questions. And then she's like, Grandma, out of the 50 questions I asked, like 15 or 20 of them were procrastination. And I was like, I know, I'm surprised myself. So the epiphanies kept coming this weekend. And I was sugarcoating that everything's fine. And then when I'm like ready to go to sleep and I'm rethinking my day, then I'm punishing myself. Because why? But sugarcoating and wound salting is my procrastination. I could have got much more done. So, and I think if that serves a purpose to that, then great. And maybe it's not going to hit all at once, but you're absolutely right. Rubbing salt on a wound to make something already difficult, unpleasant, or painful even worse, to accentuate, aggravate, or intensify a negative situation, emotion, or experience. Why do we do this? To unnecessarily cause more sadness when already in a difficult situation.
Yeah, we make ourselves suffer. Like, suffering is such a waste of fucking time. Like
life is gonna beat you up on its own. Why are you gonna participate?
God, like why do we do that to ourselves? And we do, we do. And then you get the other people. So there's another element to that too, because most of the time we throw salt in our own wounds to make ourselves suffer for whatever reason. Like we don't feel worthy. We're resenting a choice that we did not make, that we should have made, and so we do that to ourselves. Then you get other people who will, because they're so miserable with their lives, again, completely disconnecting from themselves, they'll throw salt in your wounds, or they'll make wounds on you and throw salt because they want to make you suffer for their lives. So it's both, and you have to be really careful about this, because if you are an individual who throws salt in your own wounds, there's going to be people lined up on the outside of you that are going to be throwing salt too, because they see it. It's weird. I used to say this to myself all the time, like when I was really taking stock in my life, the first like 25 years of my life, maybe it's longer than that, when I was going through my, like, out of my depression, I started to think about, why did I attract all these people in my life that just treated me like crap? And it's like, I always thought I was a strong individual, and found out that I really technically wasn't a strong, and not technically I wasn't, but I came across as very independent and strong, attracted these people in my life, and then they worked their way maliciously to knock me down, which I allowed. It was, it's my own thing. I'm taking responsibility for that. But I'm like, how do they do that? How do they find that? And I think there's this energetic thing, this energetic level where they're attracted. They're attracted to those people that are weak, whether you're showing it on the outside or not, but it's subconsciously, they energetically are connected to it, and they will throw salt in the wounds, and it's a part of a control process. So the only way to break that cycle is, number one, first of all, breaking this cycle is to know your truth. Be honest with yourself, recognize what's going on in your life, face it, then go to that piece of it. Because that's the other hard part. It's hard enough if you're throwing salt, but when you have somebody on the outside throwing it too, once you, though, decide who you are, what you deserve, that you're worth it, that you're amazing, and that you don't want this anymore, then you can deal with the people on the outside throwing the salt. Because you basically be telling them to F off, because you started to heal your wounds, and every time they try to throw that salt on there, you're just rinsing it off going, I don't think so, get out. But you're stronger. So it all starts with you. It all starts with you deciding, enough. I'm not sugarcoating anymore, and I'm not throwing salt in the wounds.
That's it. That's it. You have to turn off your misery magnet.
Yes. I love how you always have these little expressions.
So turn off your misery magnet, because you're doing enough for yourself. You don't need to have a salt throwing party. You don't need that. So, and like Lori says, walk in your truth, live in your truth. It might be ugly for the night, but in the morning, the sun will rise, and so will a new day and new opportunities.
Yes.
And I just think if we just get into the habit of just releasing one negative thought, and it's really such a beautiful thing to do this. And as you start growing in your truth, you start noticing that it doesn't hurt as much, or it doesn't hurt at all. It's your truth. It's who you've always been. You're just showing up finally for yourself.
That's right. Oh, yeah, that's true.
And so when you do that, the light will shine through, and then it would chase away all them little demons that are making you crave the sugar. Sugar's not that good for you. It's not good for you at all.
Perfect. That's perfect. You crave the sugar just like you crave the salt. You get addicted to the the chemicals that are literally being released in your brain to accentuate the sweetening of the things and the salting. I mean, this is actually, physiologically speaking, this is actually very true. And we do it mentally as well. So that was perfect. So end your cravings, your salt and sugar cravings. If you want salt and sugar, allow yourself to have a candy and something salty, you know, or better yet, together. But don't do
I'll
it.
have a margarita.
There you go.
And think
So
of me.
don't do it in your personal life. Don't do it in to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, put it in your mouth, not in your mind.
Spirit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't feed the demons. And then once you know how in the zoo it says do not feed the, do not pet or feed the animals, that, put that invisible sign up for yourself, or praise, or put the little sticky on your mirrors. Don't feed the demons. Don't, no, we're fasting off of the emotional and spiritual sugar and salt. Label it whatever you want, but label it what it is to you. Are you sweet and sour? I always speak about sweet and sour. I wrote it in my book. So if anybody's read my book, please, let me know. Let's talk about it. So, and it's something, yeah, absolutely right. You have to, do it with the candy. Go, go eat some sweet and sour chicken from the Chinese store. Do something that's just going to feed your palate. Let it sit in your tummy and then shit it out when it's no longer of service to you. Okay? But don't absorb it like a sponge into your spirit, because then you're damaging more than what you're trying to sugarcoat. Or, that wound that you're throwing that salt on constantly, it's going to start becoming a bacterial eating thing through your
Absolutely. It's gotta heal. You have to let it heal. In fact, make 2 signs for yourself and hang them in your space, your bedroom, whatever. And it could be just on a 8 by 11, regular copy piece of paper. And the first one is say sweet and salty for mouth, not mind. Like put that.
I like that.
To remind you, because that's the other thing, is it's just to remind you to always do this. And then the other one is put I am worth it, or I am enough. Put that sign in there so that you're reminded all the time. Pop it on your phone so that, sweet and salty is for my mouth, not my mind, until you get it in place and catch yourself, because the awareness is where it starts. The moment you start to catch yourself sugarcoating something, the moment you start to catch yourself putting salt in those wounds, stop yourself. Don't get mad at yourself that you let it go for a little while. We all do that. Just acknowledge, however far you're into it at that moment in time, just acknowledge it and then just stop it. And then more and more you won't do it as much, or you won't do it at all. And and Margie's right, you gotta let that wound heal. Otherwise it's gonna fester into a massive infection, and before you know it, it'll infect your whole entire body. And we know what happens if you eat too many sweets. If you're sugarcoating stuff all the time, you're just gonna get unhealthy and fat. So either are unhealthy, but like either of them, a festering wound or addicted to the sugar, they're both unhealthy, right?
Mm-hmm. You're gonna get fat, and then you're gonna become more miserable, and then you're gonna overeat, and then you're gonna pour salt all over yourself. So yeah, let's not get there. It's less expensive to just walk with your truth, and see things for what they are, and walk around with alcohol swabs and tend to those wounds before you make them worse. Because remember, nobody or nothing can happen to you unless you allow it. So stop beating yourself up.
Yes.
Because whether you're throwing sugar on it or salt, it's the bottom line is you're lying to yourself. And the one thing my father taught me as a child, nunca te engañe. Never lie to yourself. There's going to be enough people in the world to do that to you.
That's so true. That's so true. And yeah, I mean, just most people lie to themselves because they can't face things about themselves, and they think that they're less than other people, and that you're not. I mean, everybody has shit in their lives. Everybody has had what is it? They said that there's like I think Jack Canfield said that something like 85% of the population came from a dysfunctional family. And I would bet money that number is higher. So,
it is higher.
yeah, and so whatever you had in your life, you're not alone, you know. And so don't put that on yourself. And I want to do before we keep going, I want to shout out to Tiffany. Tiffany's on, Tiffany Bryan and Andrew Frankson. Glad you guys came on. And Nan said, no one likes being assaulted with salt. Yes. But yet we
like that.
People doing that to us when, right? Sometimes we get pissed off when we catch people throwing salt in our wounds or sugarcoating something for us. We get pissed off at that. But yet when we do it to ourselves, we never seem to have an issue. That's with anything. When we badmouth ourselves, we never have an issue. We see somebody else get badmouthed and we get all uppity. Like I see that with my daughter. My daughter, she's been bullied. She bullies herself. When she sees other people bullied, she gets very powerful and stands up for them. And I love that. I love that about her. And that's how I was. But when it comes to herself, or when it came to myself, I didn't stand up for myself. And then I realized, like, God, and that's what the sweet and salty lifestyle was for me. And then finally I came into my truth, and I realized how much I loved myself. And then I finally said, F all of you. Like, I'm going to stand up for myself. No more sugarcoating, no more throwing salt in my wounds, and nobody's going to do it for me either. And you take charge of that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, if it's hard for you in the beginning, you have to remind yourself. So put those signs up and get the people in your tribe, the people that you're closest to, who've been waiting for you to step into your greatness. Get them to be on board, and they will be open arms, thrilled. So glad to have you here, where we've been waiting for you all this time.
Absolutely. And it's nothing. And the sweet and sour always brings me back to the quote from Richard Kenneth Eng, which says, when life asks death, why do people love me but hate you? And death responded, because you are a beautiful lie and I am the painful truth.
Yes.
And if you can walk with that, like, I love that.
I love that.
Carl Jung, when he wrote that no tree can reach heaven without its roots reaching down to hell. Again, that's sweet and sour, right? But so you can't have one unless you've gone through it. So, but you can't stay there. When we're walking through that when we're caught in the magnet of misery, right? So our self-creating magnet, just visit, but don't become a permanent resident. And what's happening is we're delaying our leave. We're staying longer. We're getting too comfortable in it. So you're not going to see the beauty and just at arm's reach for ourselves when we want to just stay there, because it's our comfort zone. It's what we know, or because, I like it here. If you like it there,
And it's dumbfounding, right? It's dumbfounding, because we've both done this. You and I have both done this. A lot of people have done this. It's dumbfounding once you get past it, when you look back and go, how did I stay so comfortable in such misery? Like, how is it even humanly possible that those two words connect, that my comfort zone was misery? And it becomes your comfortable place. And then when you come out of it, you're like, wow, that was a colossal waste of time.
Well, yeah, my cousin Marina wrote that it's very hard to do exactly what you were just saying. She says, although when you reach that point, you are liberated. And I think it's fair to say that you and I can both say, yeah, because we've dug that hole.
Yes.
I dug my hole well beyond 6 feet under. And every time I dug it, it was that much more harder to get out, until finally I got out and I was like, I'm melting down this shovel.
Oh, yes.
I'm being cremated anyway. I don't need no damn hole, right? But it is. It is, Marina. It is very difficult, especially if you've been there for a long time. But in that you say that, I also want to say that if you don't have the energy or the strength to do it on your own, and your tribe isn't the tribe you should have built because you built it while you were either feeling sorry for yourself or self-inflicting wounds into yourself. So
Right.
you attract that same kind of
Yep.
chaos.
Misery loves company.
So you're constantly riding that wave of trauma, drama, and chaos, and then you wonder, why isn't anybody there for me? Reach out to Lori and I. This is what we do for a living.
Yeah.
We're
Life
those
coaches.
life
That's what you
coaches
do.
that
Yeah.
will help assist you into, walking towards the light.
Yes.
And that's what we do. Nancy says some people do it for attention. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's why sometimes I'll customize, but I usually don't customize my approach in the beginning, because I have to feel that spirit to see, is it a deep trauma or is it an attention seeking gadget?
Mm-hmm.
And so I use just one technique to to see which is which. One technique is what I use to say, okay, so that when they come up, whatever feeling comes up from that one technique, then I know how to balance it, whether it is a deep-rooted issue or it's, a narcissist seeking attention. I can't feed your ego. I don't get paid for that.
Not enough money. Not enough money in the
I don't get
world.
paid. I get paid to help you release, help you understand, right? To help you learn you, because that's my goal. That's why I'm the spiritual one and she's the transformational. I don't want to get that wrong.
Well, and you know what's funny? We're both, because we both have those. That's probably why we just adore each other and get along so well, is that I might have the science side and you might have the more spiritual side, but we also have that side. You
It
have
is.
the science side there, and I have the spiritual side. So it's that I've realized this the other day, that we're like yin and yang, totally. We're the same, but we have certain parts of us that are more accentuated. But anyway, so we've got to
And it's wonderful, right? It's wonderful. I know you got to go, because the bottom line, I don't believe I chose to be a spiritual and creative healing life coach. I believe through the realms, through my ancestors, through my spiritual guides, that it chose me. And that's why when I do it, I give 100%, as you do. So, I mean, everybody needs help. As you said, I go to you, you're my life coach. Everybody goes to someone. So reach out. Mary Wilson says she's got to go. Mary Wilson, thank you for taking the time out from work.
Yes, we got to go too, Mary. Thank you. Because I've got a driver's ed thing with my kids.
Oh, that's going to be
fun. So listen, thank you so much, everybody, for coming on today. I hope you really got something out of this. We were very excited to present this to you today, because we thought it was a really, really good topic and something that needed to be heard. So for Thursday's show, we are going to be talking about being intentional with our guest, Diana Negron. And this is also a great conversation, because it's about we take from here to there about being intentional in your life. So thank you so much for coming on. And I am the Badass Buddha, Lori Monaco. And remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
Yes, mi gente, have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday for the rest of your day. Be aware and remember, breathe in the beauty, breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming on. Great, Lala. Great.